It's getting old, isn't it?
Hey everybody, we're on our way out for another adventure. And where are we going? Where are we going this time?
1770, eventually.
Eventually?
Via the long way.
By the long way.
Over hills, over plains, through the mud and in the rain. That's how we're travelling.
That's it, wherever the road takes us. All right. We'll see you on the road.
Take on the world.
Well, we didn't actually make it up to 1770. Instead, our tiger decided to have a little breakdown, and I got stung by a bee. So our trip got cut a little bit short. We were still out for 4 days, 3 nights, but we ended up finding this really cool spot in Wrattens National Forest. The map shows the tracks and roads we took to Widgie, which is just outside of Wrattens National Park. The general store there was a much-needed stop for regular fuel-ups and provisions. I'll pop the scenic link to the GPX file if you'd like to take a ride out there yourself. So this really is only my 3rd or 4th ride on the Suzuki DR650. If you noticed in our previous videos, I was on a CRF 250, but I always felt like I was wringing the guts out of it on the highways. After all, sometimes you need to cover a bit of distance on the blacktop to get where you want to go off-road. Anyway, Stu suggested that I get a DR, and I couldn't be happier. It's an older bike, so we picked it up pretty cheap. It needed a bit of work, so Stu got to cracking on it. He replaced all the typical things that wear out, like tires, chains, sprockets, but he also rebuilt and lowered the suspension for me because I'm a bit, vertically challenged. The carby also had some issues from day dot, and Stu soon worked out what the problem was, which is probably why the guy sold it in the first place. A tiny part in the carby had been put in the wrong way, so once Stu pulled it apart and put it all back together again properly, it was running like a new bike. It also had an oil leak in the head, so a fair bit of work went into getting it going well again. It's now the best bike I've had by far. It's just so much fun, and it's a lot more confidence-inspiring and forgiving than the Tiger is in the more gnarly stuff. Stu's on my Tiger for this trip, but he's a mechanic, so if he breaks it, he fixes it. After all, Milky is my work ute, and I'll need it good to go for the hot start round at Morgan Park at the end of the month.
There's your view. That was worth a bit of a back road fucking...
Yeah.
The house is pretty cool, eh?
Very.
No, this is fucking different.
Yeah, it's all new. One of the things I love about exploring on motorbikes is that it takes me back to when I used to trail ride on horses. Friends and I would often pack up the floats and four-wheel drives and hit the hills. Kinkin, Kilkeven, and many of the state forests in the area were our favorite destinations for exploring and overnight camping. Except I was usually on a thoroughbred fresh off the track, so it wasn't always the most relaxing ride, but it was fun. We had a bit of distance to travel before we hit our planned camping area in Wrattens National Park, which was just a bit over 300 kilometers away. We kept moving north and working away on the back roads through Crow's Nest National Park and past Lake Cressbrook. We made pretty good time the first day and wanted to have an early camp set up so we could relax and enjoy our holiday afternoon. We had actually planned on getting up to 1770 the following day and explore the forestry and back roads on our way up north, so we weren't far from the area we wanted to set up camp for the night. This forestry area seemed pretty cool, so we kept an eye out for a good spot. One thing I did notice when we got into this forestry section was that there were heaps of beehives all stacked in amongst the trees in turnout areas. Now, some years ago I was hospitalized because I went anaphylactic after getting stung by a bunch of wasps, so I have to now carry an EpiPen with me. I've often wondered if I was still allergic, or if getting stung by just one bee would have the same effect, but I didn't really want to find out. I just kept zipping up my jacket and closing my visor every time Stu gave the warning. I also brought my EpiPen and a bucket load of antihistamines, just in case. That looks like something down there. Look, we got a beautiful view up here too. Next time you see one of those turnoffs down there, have a little slow up, and we might then just park the bikes and go and have a quick walk.
Gonna go have a look on the left there?
Is there one in there?
I don't know, go and have a look.
Oop. Looks like it's just a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
We'll go have a look.
There's a bit of a track there, but I don't know how.
It's alright, we'll park the bikes and have a look.
But I think it's a fair way to a view from there. Yeah.
You know what? We've got time, we'll have a look. Okay, so it looks like we may have found the perfect camp spot for tonight. What forest is this again?
I don't know, a woody one.
It's a woody one. Okay, we're in woody forest.
If you're looking for a woody.
How freaking awesome is this? Look at that, we even have lily pads. You're a dick. Look, we've already broken out the wine. Ooh.
I'm sure they're surprised by that.
Box of wine. Oh, they said more birds. What? So, right next to this little dam, this pond full of wildlife, lily pads. Oh, lilies. This is my helmet hanging tree for the night. And, oh look, there's a tent and there's Milky. Poor Milky. What are you doing on your milk? This is in deep wilderness as you can get around here. After some good food, wine, and a chorus of frogs singing to us all night, we were packed up and on our way once again. As we headed out of the forestry, we headed to the Ouija General Store for some fuel and a pit stop. We planned to hit 1770 by the afternoon, but we had a bit of trouble with our offline maps since there was no mobile coverage, and we ended up a bit off course, by about 100 kilometers. We decided to head towards Harvey Bay instead.
Kangaroo. Well, what goes down must go up.
Oh shit.
Oh, fucking clunk.
That was good fun. Going through the hoopties. Hoop doopy doop doopy doop. Since Stu and I are always up for checking out new places, we decided to take a little detour to see what Tinninbar was all about. It's only a tiny little village just north of Tin Can Bay. It's got some cute little houses there, some I imagine would be for holiday stays, and it seems quite popular with fishermen, bird watchers, and I suppose people just want to get away for a while to enjoy some beautiful sandy beaches and crystal blue water. There's no mobile coverage out that way, so what happened next was a bit of a worry. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I gotta stop.
What's up?
I got stung by something.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, there's just a pit.
Well, with my EpiPen at the ready, and after chugging down a bunch of antihistamines, I was hoping that those familiar symptoms would stay mild and not progress to something more serious. So we headed into the village to have a rest and see what might happen next.
Excuse me? Is there, my partner's allergic to bees and she just got stung by one, and she's sort of okay, but is there any, like, if we need to get an ambulance or something in there in a hurry, is there any, like, bush fire brigade or something like that? Okay. Righto. Yeah, I saw, yep. Okay then, I will go and hang out there and hopefully everything's alright. Thank you. Sorry for riding on your grass.
Alright, I'll pull up here.
Well, by this time I was feeling pretty unwell. My nose and lips had started that funny tingle sensation, but apart from that and a whopping headache, things didn't really seem to be progressing any worse than that, so we made the decision to ride on to Harvey Bay, which was only about an hour away. We stayed in a holiday cabin not far from the beach, and we were really looking forward to a hot shower and a good night's sleep. I was feeling okay by morning, so we headed back south with the plan to camp again in another cool forestry location halfway between Harvey Bay and home and spend some time exploring the back roads. Having all kinds of fun till Milky decided to break down. It appeared to be the ECU or a sensor of some sort, and after some sweating and swearing and no mobile phone reception, we decided to unpack the camping gear and Stu would take the DR home to fetch the ute. While he was gone, I set up camp and amused myself by throwing the drone in the air and meeting the wildlife. Where we broke down and decided to eventually set up camp was right at the Wrattens National Park sign. Across the road was a huge environmental learning facility, but of course it was all locked up for the holidays. It was a pretty spectacular view, even just to get an idea of where exactly we were in the forestry. I was wondering what the birds were having to go at. Aren't you a big bugger? You gonna climb the tree? Hey? You gonna climb the tree? Look how huge you are. Let me pet you. Let me pet you. Come on. You can climb the tree. You're very pretty. Hi. Ooh, you're quick. Hi. You're like that big old bugger that used to get in my chicken coop. Hi. Look how handsome you are. Alright. What are you gonna do your thing? I'm gonna do mine. I just saw the crows having to go. I wondered who they were hassling. No, I'm hassling them. Sorry, mate. Okay, see ya. So I'm sitting around my camp taking the drone out. I found a huge goanna. It is pretty big, very pretty. He didn't like me hanging around him too much. But it's been good. And I threw the drone in the air, played around with it, got some really cool aerial footage of the place. There's an environmental education center just across the road, like this road here that comes through. This little bit here is the only bit that's actually paved. Everything else coming into and out of this state forest is all four-wheel drive track. And that's what we came to get in, and that's no doubt how we'll get back out eventually when we get the ute in here and pick up the dead tiger. But this environmental education center, it's all locked up for the holiday. Obviously no one's in there. I went up there to have a little snoop around and to see if there was any Wi-Fi available. Not a single cell signal around. Anyway, so I've just been sitting back listening to the wildlife. Some pretty cool sounding birds out here. I'd like to know what they all are. Night before last, we stayed alongside a little dam in forestry as well when we were on our way into Harvey Bay, and there were some really cool frogs. I don't know what they are. I'll have to have a look online when we get back into civilization and try to identify who we were listening to all night. But it was really good. Today, like I said, didn't really go to plan, but it's a pretty nice little spot, so I'm just going to hang tight, enjoy Mother Nature, and wait for Stu to come back and rescue me. And I hope he's okay. All right, out for now.